She wanted, I just recorded. I'm going to record the class and then I send it on WhatsApp. So we're going to start this week. We are going to make a review of the past simple tense, of the verbs in past, questions in past. The last level we were studying the present simple review. In this, we're going to see the past tense, the past simple review. And we are going to start with some events that we have on the first, that we have here on the first page. We have some events that happened in the past. They are in past, and we're going to read them. Jose, do you want to read the first three, maybe? The first three events. This, and this, and this. Paul
Yes,
Ritter.
there says Paul Reader used the telegraph to send news and financial information in
Europe.
Europe. Europe.
Europe. Mhm.
Europe.
Europe, yes.
Station 8 MK in Detroit uh, present
Presented.
presented the first radio news program.
Uh-huh. And then
The BBC World Service Radio start.
started. And what verbs do you see in those three sentences in past?
The last one started,
Started,
presented,
presented,
or
uh-huh.
presented. I think that's it.
Used.
Oh, used.
Yes, used.
Mhm.
Used, presented, started. Those are the verbs in past. Let's go with Dariani. Can you read this? The next three. The BBC started.
Yes, the BBC started its first foreign language radio service in Arabic
In Arabic.
at the American Telephone and Telegraph launched Telstar into orbit. It was the first active TV and communication satellite.
Satellite.
Fi-
Satellite.
500 million people watched Neil Armstrong on the moon.
On the moon. And in these three sentences, what verbs are there in the past tense? For example,
Started
started,
and launched
launched,
was
watched, was, here was,
watched.
watched. So we have all of them are in past. And all of them finish, well, most of them, because we have here was is irregular. But some of them finish in ed. In this week, we're going to see what's the pronunciation of the ed. And the last three, Kelvin, do you want to read them? The last three sentences. A newspaper in Ohio.
Okay, yeah, a newspaper in Ohio, US produced the first digital newspaper on the internet. Ted Turner created the cable new network CNN on TV, the first 24 hours new channel.
Channel.
Uh,
Al Jazeera.
oh, okay. Al Jazeera, the first 24 hours Arabic news station
In
started in Doha, Qatar.
Qatar, yes. In
Yeah.
these three sentences, what verbs do you see in past?
Uh, produced.
Produced,
Yeah. Created.
created, uh-huh.
Um, start.
Started,
Started.
started.
Yeah.
Yes. The ED, in English, the ED sound, here, ED, these two letters in English, they can have different pronunciation, okay? And it's not just for the verbs, it's for any word in English that finishes, any word that finishes in ed, verb, adjective, any word that finishes in ed can have three different pronunciations. Okay. Sometimes the ed sounds like a T. A veces la ed de ed suena como una T. Like for example, when I say watched, 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 like this. Watched, watched. Look at the T here. Watched, watched, watched. The T. It's not watched, it's watched, watched. It's a T sound. Then we have, maybe if I put here the camera. If I have, for example, this,
Started.
that's another sound. I'm going to explain that one. Look at this.
Oh.
Worked, 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 worked. It's a T sound. Worked, worked. It's not worked, 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 worked. Another example when I say maybe this. Liked, 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 liked. It's not liked, it's not worked, it's not watched. It's watched, worked, liked. It's a T sound, okay? When I write this, finished, 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 finished. It's not finished, 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 okay? The ED can sound like a T. The ED sometimes can sound like a D. For example, when I say this, I say loved, 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 loved. It's not loved, it's loved, loved. The D sound. Or maybe if I write, this one. Lived, 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 lived. Or maybe remembered, 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 bird. No remembered, remembered. It's like es como si esta E la elimino, no suena. Remembered, remembered, remembered. And the other pronunciation, the one that Jose said, is the pronunciation that sounds like an id, id. For example, when Jose said started, started, here, started, 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 started. Or if I say maybe ended, 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 ended. So the ED can sound like a T, like a D, or like an id. It can have all of those three sounds. Okay, it's not just one. It's three different pronunciations. So, do you understand a bit or no? Tell me. Did you get it? Or
Yes,
too difficult?
we understand. The thing is how.
The thing is
we
in real
know.
life is to remember.
Yeah,
in
how
real
we
life.
know. How we know when is IT.
That's a good question. How do we know when? How do we know when? Well,
Exactly.
that's a good question. Let me write it here. Here. How do we know when? Well, the ED pronunciation, the verbs that finish, in which the last sound of the verb that finish in an SH, CH, X, F, Z, K, Q. These last sounds, normally they have the T sound. T sound. For example, finish, work, what was the other? Watched, here, maybe fix, arreglar, fix. Los verbos en los cuales el último sonido sea un sonido de SH, CH, X, F, Z, K, Q. For example, look, work. It finishes in K, in the K sound. So we say worked, 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 worked. Or finish, the SH sound. Say finished, finished, finished. Or watch, the CH sound. Watched, watched, watched. Or fix is an X. Fixed, fixed. Yeah, I fixed
Fixed.
I fixed my car. I fixed my car. I fixed. No, I fixed it. I fixed my car.
I fixed.
Finished, worked, watched, fixed. And they finished the sound is a T sound. Okay. Other sounds when the verb finishes in a V here, V, L, M, N, any vowel, O, U, any kind of vowel. When the verb has one of these final sounds, it sounds, the ED sounds like a D. For example, love. Love, el último sonido de love is the V, love. It's not love, right? It's love, love, love. Is the V sound, love. So we say loved, loved, loved. Or maybe if I write, remember is an R. It's also here. Remembered, 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 remembered. Okay. And the last sound, the sound of the it is the easiest of them all because when the verb finishes in D or in T, it sounds like it. For example, visited, 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 ended, 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 started, voted, graduated,
Eat, maybe.
graduated. Which one?
Eat. No, right?
It is 8 because it's
Oh,
irregular.
it's 8. Big, yeah.
This rule is just for the verbs that finish in ed, for the regular verbs. It's just for the verbs that finish in the ed sound. Okay? And it's not just for verbs. Esto no es solo para verbos. Esto es para cualquier palabra en inglés que termine en ed. For example, I'm going to write here, bored. I am bored. Like, I'm bored. I'm bored. Bored. No bored. I'm bored. I am interested in history. Interested. 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 So this is for any word in English that finishes in ed. Okay. Yo sé que es un poquito complicado. Esto es algo que normalmente entendemos mejor los profesores que los alumnos, pero de aquí sale. Por eso les digo que cuando a los verbos terminan en ed, no siempre vamos a decir started. Puede que uno suene loved, love, y no loved, no, loved, started. Or when you see this, it's not worked, it's worked, 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 because it's a T sound, okay? So the important thing here is to remember that the ED has 3 different pronunciations. I'm going to explain this many times, this level.
Yeah.
So you understand it. This is not the first time that I'm going to say it. I'm going to explain it several times. So you remember it. Yes. So in this page, we have used. I'm going to show you the difference. We have used, that is a T sound. Used here, used, T sound. Presented, what do you think? Presented. Presented is a T, a D, or an it sound. What do you think? Presented. Presented. Presented.
Presented.
But in the first, second, or third?
Second.
Third is the third one. It's presented.
Presented.
Because it finishes in T. Remember that the verbs that finish in T
Oh, okay. Yeah.
is the it sound. So presented, presented.
Present. Okay.
Started, started.
Started.
The same.
Yeah. Started,
Finishing T.
started, started. Listen to this one. Launched, launched.
Third.
The first one.
First, launched, launched. because it has the CH sound.
Mhm.
So it's launched. Yes. Watched. Watched.
The
Same.
first one too.
First.
Watched.
Mhm.
Look at this. Produced. Produced. Produced.
Second.
The
No, the
first.
third. The third.
The first. Produced.
Um,
¿Por qué es the first? Bueno, hay personas que también la escriben acá. Depende. Pero
Oh.
produced suena con una T al final. No sé si lo han escuchado cuando alguna persona americana lo pronuncia o alguna película. No es produced, produced,
Produced.
produced, produced. It's with T. Produced, produced. Como worked, used, launched. Created, 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 created.
third.
Es
Third.
create. Look at the verb. Create. Create. Así. Create. The pronunciation is create.
Eight.
So it finishes in the T. So I have to say created, 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 created. El verbo create, su último sonido es un sonido de T. Y cuando los verbos tienen como último sonido la T, van aquí. T o D. Created, started, presented, graduated, voted, voted. It's just that the T sounds like an R. Voted, voted, created, started, presented. Here, started. It's here. Started, started. So it's not difficult, but we have to practice. No es difícil, pero yo lo voy a estar repitiendo muchas veces estas semanas hasta que se les grabe. Que no se dice used, launched, o watched, o I don't know, produced. No. Produced, launched, presented, used. That's my goal for this level.
Okay.
Right, listen and check your answers. Aha. We're going to listen to an audio. Let me find it. We're going to listen to an audio and we have to see in which year these events happened. In 1999, in 1861, in 2014, I don't know. We have to listen in which year all of these events happened. Yes? Let me find it. Is it 301? Let's listen. Let me share the sound. And here it is.
Global Elementary, CD3. Track 1.
In 1851, Paul Reuter, who later started Reuters Press Agency, used the telegraph to send news for the first time. In 1920, Station 8MK in Detroit presented the first radio news program. The BBC World Service, originally called the BBC Empire Service, started in 1932, and in 1938 it started its first foreign language service in Arabic. In 1962, AT&T launched Telstar into orbit. It was the first active communication satellite. In 1969, more than 600 million people watched Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon. In 1980, the Columbus Dispatch in Ohio, US, was the first newspaper to start a digital edition on the Internet. In the last part of the 20th century, it was possible to watch news all day. In 1980, Ted Turner created the cable news network, CNN, the first TV station to broadcast news 24 hours, 7 days a week. In 1996, The first 24-hour news station in Arabic, Al Jazeera, started in Doha, Qatar.
You want to listen once again, one more time, or are you ready? Already?
Just missing one.
One? Which one?
I don't remember.
And the rest, Dariani, Kelvin, you got all of them, or you want to listen again? No?
Again for me.
It's okay for you.
Yeah, again.
Again for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's play it again.
Global Elementary, CD3. Track 1.
In 1851, Paul Reuter, who later started Reuters Press Agency, used the telegraph to send news for the first time. In 1920, Station 8MK in Detroit presented the first radio news program. The BBC World Service, originally called the BBC Empire Service, started in 1932, and in 1938 it started its first foreign language service in Arabic. In 1962, AT&T launched Telstar into orbit. It was the first active communication satellite. In 1969, more than 600 million people watched Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon. In 1980, the Columbus Dispatch in Ohio, US, was the first newspaper to start a digital edition on the Internet. In the last part of the 20th century, it was possible to watch news all day. In 1980, Ted Turner created the cable news network, CNN, the first TV station to broadcast news 24 hours, 7 days a week. In 1996, the first 24-hour news station in Arabic, Al Jazeera, started in Doha, Qatar.
Okay. The first, 1851, we know it. Jose, Station AMK presented the radio in which year?
1920.
1920. In 1920. Yes. Here. And the BBC started in
1932. 32.
22.
1922.
No, 32.
32.
I think 32.
Let's see exactly that part here.
News for the first time. In 1920, Station 8MK, the BBC World Service, originally called the BBC Empire Service, started in 1932.
1932.
23.
1932, yes.
Yes.
Daddy, the BBC started the first foreign language radio service in Arabic in which year?
1938.
38, yes. Do you know what is foreign? A foreign language. I mean, English, Italian, Japanese, Chinese. A language from another country. For example, we speak Spanish. English is a foreign language for us.
Exactly.
Italian is a foreign language for us. Foreign, extranjero. Then AT&T launched Telstar in which year?
1962.
62, yes. And the 600 million people watched Neil Armstrong in which year?
1969.
1969.
69. You know who is Neil Armstrong? The first man
The
on the
first
moon.
man on the moon.
Yes, Neil Armstrong. The first man, well, supposedly.
Yeah, because for the Soviet, what is the other country?
We don't know if it is real, but according to the TV and the news, it was the first man on the moon. Three astronauts were here. But he was like the most important. The first man that walked on the moon. We don't know if it is true, but That's what they say. The newspaper in Ohio produced it in which year?
1990.
1999.
90.
90,
Mm-hmm.
80,
90.
80, 1980. Let me show you. Why is this?
Oh, I thought 1980 is the next one. Okay.
The next one is 1982. Let me show you.
Okay.
In the last part of the 20th century, it was possible to watch news all day. In 1980, Ted Turner created the cable news network
Okay, that was
on the internet. In 1980,
in 1980. Here.
the moon. In 1980, the Columbus Dispatch in Ohio, US, was the first newspaper to start a digital edition on the internet.
1980. They are really similar. The difference
Yeah.
is a slight difference. 1980, 1990. And the CNN, the cable news network, it was also created in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
No, in 1990. In 1980 was created. And the last, Al Jazeera.
1996.
1996, yes.
I didn't know the CNN means cable news network.
Cable news network, yes.
Yeah.
Cable CNN. And it was created, look, founded here
Mm-hmm.
in 1980 in Atlanta, Georgia, it says.
Yeah.
1980. And the first digital newspaper was also created in 1980. I'm going to send it to the group, and I'm going to send the listening to the group. If you want to listen again, you can do it. Here. Here you have. Perfect. We are going to study the past simple tense. But the past simple tense, do you remember that it has regular verbs like started, the ones that we're using, started, ended, worked, visited, but it also had the irregular. Do you remember them? The irregular, for
Yes.
example, what's the past tense of eat?
8.
Eight.
Yes. Or what's the past tense of go?
Went.
Mm-hmm.
Went. Or what's the past tense of the verb be? I am, you are, she is.
Was,
Less
were,
and when.
Was or where, it depends. Yes.
yeah.
Or drink,
Drunk.
drunk with A. Or have, had. So
Yeah.
this week we're going to remember all of this. The pronunciation, the ED, the past tense, all of it. Good night and good luck. You know who's him? Ed Murrow. You know who's
No.
man? He was really famous. Well, because he passed away, but he was really famous. He was a newsreader in the United States. He had a radio program. And the name of the radio program was Good Night and Good Luck. So let's read this. Let's see who else is here. Oriana, can you read from here to here to New York? Can you read it? I don't know if you can read it or if you can talk. Yeah, no? Or maybe Jose, from here to here? Ed Murrow?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
You're here. Okay.
Yes.
Read
Oh,
it.
okay.
Ed Murrow was
Ed Murrow was one of the Americans' most popular news readers.
yes.
He was born on 25 April 1908 in North Carolina. He studied at Washington State College, and when he finished, he moved on to New York.
He moved to New York, yes. Jose, continue until here, and then Dayani, his last phrase.
Okay. He married with Janet
Brewster.
Brewster in 1935, and in the same year start work at CBS,
Mhm,
the Columbian Broadcasting System.
mhm.
in the 1950s, millions of Americans watched
Mhm,
his nightly
mhm,
news program.
mhm. And
His last verse every night was good night and good luck. Always a heavy smoker. He died died of cancer in 1966
65.
65.
Mhm.
Yes, he died of cancer in 1965. In this paragraph, this is what was the name? This is when a person is dead, most of the time when we write the memories or when we write the history of their lives, all the time is in past. So this person is dead, so was born, studied, finished, watched, died, was. When we write about a person that is no longer here, most of the time we write it in the past tense. It's really common to do it. Okay.
Okay.
And in this paragraph, we have many sentences that are really useful for using the past. Look at this. I was born. I was born in 1996, in July, on the 21st of April, and in 2001, in 2003, in 1980. I was born. My birth date. It's used all the time in the past tense. Another one, I studied at, or I graduated at, I graduated in 2020. I graduated the last year. Moved. I moved to USA, to Mexico, to Caracas in 2010, in 2004. I had my first job in. So anytime that you want to talk about the past, you have to do it like this. I was born, I studied, I graduated, I moved. If I ask, when were you born? Jose, when were you born? When?
I was born in Cabimas,
Okay, in which year?
1992.
I'm asking the year because it's when. It's not where. It's when.
Okay. Okay.
1992. If I ask where were you born? I was born
Oh,
in
where?
Cabimas, yes.
Yeah.
And Kelvin, when or where were you born? When?
I was born in Valera,
And when?
Trujillo. Why? Where is when? Sorry.
When? Yes.
In 1995.
1995. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I studied, I graduated, I started school. I started school in, or the opposite. I finished school in, for example, I started school in 2000 or 2001. No, in 2000. And I finished in 2013. Oh, I graduated. I graduated from school in 2015, 2020, the last year. Let's see, Dariani, when did you start at school and when did you finish school? In which years? Do you remember? Start school, finish school.
I finished school in 2016.
16.
16. Uh-huh.
You finished school in 2016. And when did you
Yeah.
start? Do you remember when you started?
No.
No? Maybe you started in 2003, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
If you finish in that year. Maybe you started 2004, 2003. Also, when we have, I had my first job. I had my first kid. I had children. I had my first car. Guillermo, when did you have your first car? You remember?
My first car I had in the 2019,
Okay.
I think. Yeah,
In Venezuela.
2019 in Venezuela. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I had my first job. My first job, I don't remember. Do you remember your first job?
In 2016, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was recently my graduation in school.
Uh-huh. I don't remember because I have always worked. I mean,
Yes,
when I was at school, I worked. Like
exactly.
remember I did for my what was the name of them? My classmates. For my classmates, I remember
Yeah,
I did yeah the exam.
where in Luz.
No, at school. At school. See,
Remember when you studied in engineering in
yeah,
Luz?
engineering, yes. But no, I started when I was at school, like fifth grade, sixth grade. Like,
Oh my God.
really, I remember I did the activities, the exams for them.
You always has been so smart.
And I wanted to be independent, like
Yeah.
have my own things, my own money. And I look,
Me acuerdo, vos salías corriendo con esos cuadernos por todos lados.
I
Siempre
was
andabas estresada. No, no, no.
yeah, all the time. So I don't remember my first job. I mean, I was a kid, I think. So as you can see, all the sentences are in past. Had, moved, graduated, studied,
Study.
was. People think that born, la gente piensa que born es un verbo. Ah, aquí no, en este no. El verbo aquí es I was, the verb be. Born is another thing, is a participle, is a different thing. The verb is the verb be. I was born. That's why I ask, when were you born? Here, when were you born?
When were?
Because for you is where. Remember, I was, you were,
Where, yeah.
he was, it was, they were, we were.
Yeah. You
That's
can
why
you can. I mean, you can say when you born.
also, yes, when you
Oh, okay.
when you were born. When you were born, when were you born? Always the were, because the verb is
It's a
where
past.
was, is the verb be.
Mhm.
Yes. So as I said, we're going to see all of this week. And I have here some, but I think I have them here. I have here more. We just did these sentences with the ed, used, presented, started, launched, watched, produced, created. Those are regular, but we also have irregular. I have them here. I have here now some sentences using the irregular. Let's see if you remember. Who wants to try to do the first? The first is this.
Me.
Yeah? Woodward and Bernstein.
Woodward and Bernstein was two Washington News reporters.
But it's two. It's plural.
Where?
Where? Yes. Where two. Woodward and Bernstein were two Washington News reporters. Yes. Where? Because
It's they.
they, yes, here. This is they. They. The second, who wants to try to do the second? Let's see if you remember the verbs in past. They what? Here, what's the past
They
tense of here?
hear.
What's the past tense of here?
Heard.
Heard.
Um,
It's the same, it's almost the same writing, but you have to put the letter D. Heard. Heard. It's irregular. Heard. Heard. They heard about a you know what's this? Burglary.
No, I don't know where is it.
It's like when we say a theft, es un robo, burglary. ¿Cómo decir theft? Yes, theft, robo. Solo que theft es más robar una cosa. Burglary es más cuando entran a un lugar donde
Un saqueo.
como entrar sí, entrar a una
Mm,
casa. That's a burglary.
la chavita.
Theft es más como robarme un carro, una joya, un objeto. Theft. Um, es robo. Burglary también, pero como de entrar a una casa, a un lugar, a un establecimiento. So they heard about burglary at the Democratic headquarters. You know what are the Democratic headquarters? This.
Headquarters, no.
No? You know, in the United States,
Headquarters.
in the US, you have two parties, political parties. The Democratic Party and the
Oh, okay, okay.
Republican.
yes, you have two political parties. The Democratic headquarters, it's like the place where the Democrats, the Democratic Party, it's established.
Mhm.
Headquarters in Spanish, it's like como cuartel general,
Líderes. Mhm.
las oficinas principales, como el cuartel general, las oficinas principales. For
Yeah,
example, Carolina Herrera headquarters are in New York. It's the main office,
Okay.
the most important office, the headquarters. Or the UNESCO headquarters are in, I don't know, France, in Italy, in any country. The main office, the most important office.
yeah.
So is that
Como
that's
como una sede principal, pero acá
yeah,
como-
the main, the most important, the
Mhm.
headquarters. The third,
Went
they went, and the
They
second
went out and asked
asked.
people question.
It finishes with the T sound. Asked.
Asked.
Yes.
Asked.
The fourth.
They
Wrote.
write it.
They wrote
They wrote.
Wrote. Yes.
about it in the Washington Post newspapers.
Yes. That's a really famous newspaper, the Washington Post. The fifth one. Story.
Got.
Got bigger and bigger. The sixth. It
Became.
Became.
Yes. Became a scandal. Story.
Ended.
Ended.
Ended. Richard Nixon's.
Ended.
Richard Nixon is this, no? Yes, is this. It was a president in the US. This. And in 1976,
Made.
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 made a film.
A film.
Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman,
Where.
Was.
because it's two people.
Um,
Do you know who is Dustin Hoffman? He's really famous.
No.
Maybe you know, but you don't remember the name. Let me show you. Dustin. He's really famous. Maybe you don't remember the name.
Oh, yeah.
This
Of course.
here.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
And the other one is Robert. That one is also famous. Robert Redford. This. Well,
Yes.
they were two actors.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And here. And they were in a movie, in a film. And the film
One.
won 4 Oscars. They won 4 Oscars. Here. So we have here heard, where, when,
Went.
wrote,
Got.
became,
Became.
made, won.
Ask.
But those
And.
are irregular.
They were. Oh, yeah.
Those are irregular.
Ended.
The regular, they are here. Started, launched, watched, produced, created, started. So that's what we're going to do this and the next week. We are
Yeah.
going to remember all the verbs in past. I'm going to send you the list so you can read them and remember them.
Thank you.
Remember that the irregular verbs, they can change. For example, eat, ate, get, got,
What?
have, had.
Had.
They can change or they don't change at all. For example, sit is sit. No, set is set. Set, like this. Or another one, let, dejar, el verbo dejar a alguien, dejar eso así como está, dejar, let, set. Or maybe, what was the other? Read, read, but it doesn't change. It's the same spelling. Read, I read a book, read.
Read.
So,
Qué loco. No, qué loco.
yeah, some verbs, they change, and some of them, they don't change. Okay, so we have to be careful. Which other that doesn't change? I don't remember, there are too many. But yeah, there are ones that they don't change. Sit is sat. For example, I sat on the sun all day yesterday because I was on the beach. So I sat, me senté todo el día a coger sol because I was on the beach. I sat on the sun. Entonces, hay verbos en inglés que su pasado o cambia, como estos, o no cambia para nada, como estos. ¿Ok? Sea cual
Okay.
sea el caso, ellos son irregulares. En cambio, los regulares tienen que obligatoriamente terminar en ed, like visited, ended, started, presented. They have to finish in ed. Entonces, bueno, esta semana mi meta es eso, ayudarlos a recordar la mayor cantidad de verbos en pasado, que sé que se saben muchos, pero se olvidan a veces, y que entiendan que los regulares, los que terminan en ed, pueden tener 3 pronunciaciones diferentes. Pueden sonar como una T, como cuando digo worked. Pueden sonar como una D, como cuando digo loved, o remembered, o lived. O pueden sonar como una id, como cuando
Start.
digo visited, started, ended. ¿Ok? Y esto aplica no solo para los verbos, esto aplica para cualquier palabra en inglés que termine en ed. Ellos pueden tener, la ed tiene 3 sonidos diferentes y eso es lo que quiero que se lleven estos días y que sepan pronunciarlo y diferenciarlo bien. La idea es que no digan worked o loved o otra cosa, pues es worked, loved, visited. That's the correct pronunciation. Yes.
Good
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, I have a question about that. Is when finish the pronunciation or is when finish when you are writing something?
It's not the writing. It's not the writing. It's the sound. It's the pronunciation.
Okay.
Not the writing.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to explain it again. But it's not the writing. O sea, yo les dije, los verbos cuando terminan en ciertos sonidos pueden sonar como una T, como una D o como una id. Pero no me refería a la última letra, es que está escrita, no. El último sonido. Por
Okay.
ejemplo, love termina en E, pero el último sonido es la B. Love, like this. Love. Entonces, cuando volvamos a explicar esto, lo voy a volver a explicar otra vez. Les voy a recordar, es el último sonido, no la letra escrita, no. The sound is the last sound. The last sound that you hear. No
Okay.
the last letter that is written, no. The last sound. Yes?
Yeah, I think that this is the most difficult
Yeah,
in
because
the
it's
past.
not what you
The
see.
most important.
It's not what is here written. It's what you hear.
Yeah.
Another example, maybe. This one. Laugh. Aquí. El verbo me reí. Laugh. Laugh termina en H. Reírse, el verbo reírse. Pero no suena como una H. Suena como una
No.
F.
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 Laugh. I laugh. So the pronunciation is the T. Laughed.
I laughed.
Because
Yeah, laugh.
F goes here. So yeah, it's it's a thing. I'm going to explain it again because it's not that easy. Lo voy a volver a explicar otra vez hasta que lo entiendan. No sé cuántas veces lo tengo que explicar, pero vamos a estar explicando muchas veces.
Hasta el final.
Yo la primera vez que me lo explicaron también no lo entendí mucho, pero con la repetición lo van a ir entendiendo. No es tan difícil. ¿Ok?
Okay.
Teacher,
Yeah, tell me.
what else we will see on this level?
We're going to see the past tense, the past simple tense, the difference between history and story, the vocabulary of the weather, sunny, rainy, cloudy, the questions in the past tense. And then the third and fourth week, we're going to remember the ing, loving, having, studying, visiting, the difference between come and go, those two verbs, come and go.
Good,
The feelings, the emotions, angry, happy, worried.
good.
We're going to see a lot of things. I don't know if we're going to have time, but we have
That's
many
cool.
things. Immigration.
But it's about the past
The past for this and the next week is the
or
past.
continuous.
The present continuous is the third and the fourth. Yes.
Okay, good.
We're going to see the ing. We have many things to do. I just send you the books on the group, so you can download them, print them as you want. And
Okay.
remind me to send you the verbs in past, the list of verbs in past.
Okay.
Well, that's it. We are done.
Thank you.
I see you tomorrow again. Yes.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye. Bye.